Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Mortgage. I'm your host, Tracy, and I'm so excited for today's episode. I have brought on two very special guests that I have aligned with in a partnership with our new venture, VF Realty Team. Welcome to the show, Santiago and Brett. I'm really excited to have you here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Pleasure.
We've got a lot to talk about today. And I've always said this is the Beyond the Mortgage podcast is about going beyond just the financing. It's bringing a holistic approach to how people deal with their financing, deal with their home purchase. And this is what we're bringing with VF Realty Team. We're really bringing that holistic approach and going beyond the mortgage. And that's what I want to talk about today is the experiences we've had since we've started this new venture and how we've been able to really help and affect people's families, their individuals when they're buying and helping with their financing. So Santiago, I'm going to start with you because I know we've been doing this in the financing space for a long time now, and we've really seen where people have been challenged, especially in the market when we're dealing with financing, purchasing a home or looking to sell, and having to make decisions very quickly. And we talked about this approach on how to be able to help people with financing and also buying or making these decisions in maybe some complicated times. Maybe you and I could talk, roughly about that right now on some scenarios where we've seen that's really been able to help people really make some proper decisions going forward.
Yeah, definitely. Coming from it originally from the mortgage side, there's been scenarios in the past where clients would reach out looking to purchase properties that, for example, they thought were a fixer-upper. Properties that were in true fact were in disrepair and a lender would not touch. But they would come to me with this property already with an offer accepted. And unfortunately, they were not aware of how financing would work for that type of property. So now in a situation where we can consult clients on both ends, I'm able to educate clients on the spot and let them know the pitfalls of specific properties or red flags that lenders might consider for specific properties. And it's really helped clients navigate the home search a lot easier because we can speak on both ends fluently in terms of the house itself, what to look out for, and on the financing at the same time. If you do make an offer on this property, what to expect with the financing, what red flags may a lender see, or advantages in terms of making an offer and feeling that confidence in making an offer because I understand the situation a little bit.
Absolutely. And I think, some of the situations that you and I have seen over the past few months, it's really helped people make decisions in a very timely manner. We're in a market that is complicated, and there is still some very quick movement in some properties in different areas. So it's helping people in real time make some good decisions, like you said, on the financing, understanding their numbers right away when they're looking to put an offer in, or making the decision if they need to sell right now. And I wanted to kind of get into that because we've had some scenarios where people have been challenged financially. I mean, this is a market it's not surprising to see that.
Yeah.
Either people have lost jobs or have been struggling financially. We've seen it on the financing side. We've helped a lot of people consolidate debt, maybe move the needle on some financing for a short period of time. But the reality of what they need to do, and we talk about this a lot this year, is right-sizing. So right-sizing into a property that fits your financial means right now. I think that being able to bring this partnership together for this alignment, to have this approach to be able to sit down with people together and really work on these solutions of where people can get into the right home based on where their financing is right now. We've had some really good success on that.
Yeah, definitely. We've had situations where, for example, someone coming up for renewal and in a situation where they just can't tolerate the payments that they're looking at. They've accumulated a lot of debt as well to help compensate for the added expenses and households, living expenses, et cetera, et cetera. So the situation where they originally purchased a home or owned it in the last few years has changed financially for them. So the topic of right-sizing is just taking a look at that situation and saying, okay, financially, are you in a situation where this house makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just looking at it as a real estate transaction. It's looking at it very holistically as a financial tool or a financial way to look at it and say, financially, is this something that you can sustain in the next few years? And what can we do to help you out? Not just in terms of getting you a mortgage, because there are sometimes tools available there on the mortgage space that could help consolidate some debt with a private mortgage, a second mortgage, but that might not be the best long-term plan for the client. So being able to provide a more holistic solution where we can say, hey, maybe this house itself is not the right fit, or if we were to downsize in this market into something that's going to be more comfortable for you financially. So you're not taking on more debt. So you're not in a situation where you're increasing the amount of mortgage that you have on the property, but you're in a situation where you're better off financially. Is that something that we consider? And a lot of the times for clients, people are very emotionally attached to their homes. So it's a bit of a tough conversation for some people. And we understand that. But at the same time, it's a bit of a reality check. When we break everything down holistically, finding that clients really appreciate that service that we can offer them, a very honest, frank discussion in terms of their situation, and professionally lay out all the options for them, pros and cons of different options for them.
Absolutely. And Brett, let's go to you now in terms of when you've come into this alignment, what you're seeing in terms of the positive impact that we're making when we're dealing with clients, whether they're looking to buy or if they're looking to sell or maybe not knowing what to do at this point, and bringing in the financing piece.
Yeah, so coming from a number of years of experience in just the real estate side alone, I get a really unique perspective coming into this, and now having a much deeper understanding of it as well. I guess what I've seen kind of in the past is I've had one perspective on the transaction, and then I kind of hand it over to the financing side, and it becomes this whole thing in the background that hopefully we cross our fingers and everything just kind of comes together. So it's been very, I guess, segregated for me. My experience has always been very segregated, where I kind of handle the one and the other kind of just hopefully works out at the end of the day if everything kind of all the ducks are in the row. So bringing this all together and now having a kind of full picture is not so much just a sum of parts where now we just have real estate here and I can kind of see the financing side, but really being able to work with clients through the entire process, both kind of in finding the home, offering on the home, and probably actually before that kind of, or in between that, discussing the financing and the unique options that Santiago is actually just touching on as well, about how we can not just find them the right property, but really ensure that what they're buying really fits into their lifestyle and their like the viability of their finances right now in their life. So it's been a pretty rewarding experience being able to help people like this. I think the norm of what people are used to is kind of dealing with a real estate agent and then dealing with a bank or a broker, and they just kind of have these different people. Having it all on one team, where not only do they really need to now not have to worry about kind of having to tell their story over and over, but they have one team, one group of people that they can trust, that they know has their best interest at heart going through the entire process, and really not having to kind of recreate that trust and having to tell, especially if it is a story of tougher times or difficulty, which we are seeing a lot right now, right? So being able to have them just kind of be able to tell one group of people that they can trust, that's going to handle everything, I think provides people with a lot of relief, and just knowing that we're going through this together with them and we really understand their whole situation. As a real estate agent, I always found that there was always a side that people were sort of holding back, or maybe they told me parts of it, but really they left that story for their lender, whoever that was. And it can oftentimes create some challenges, not really knowing exactly what the whole picture is, because it doesn't really allow for me to do my job at my highest level. I need to really fully understand everything that's kind of going on with them. If they have a lot of financial challenges somewhere else, maybe going up to whatever they qualify at the max isn't a great idea, but I can't advise them on that if I don't really have any purview into that sort of thing. So it's been a very, like I said, a very rewarding experience, but also just empowering for me to be able to elevate what I do on a regular basis, and really being able to just help people in a much more profound way that has a much greater impact on them.
And like you've said it perfectly, Brett, and that's exactly why this has come into where we're at this point, helping people understand where they're at from their financing to their purchase decisions, being able to put it under one umbrella, like you said, is full transparency to help the client understand where they're at and what's in their best interest. And that's realistic. Like that's the whole foundation of what Valco Financial's been under, is being able to help people with honesty, integrity, and professionalism. But it's also being able to help and direct them in terms of financial strategies and investment and purchase strategies, and having that together to be able to give people that perspective on a very holistic manner, but also to have all the tools that we have now that we have the real estate and the mortgage side. We have so many more elements of education that we can bring to clients to really give them a greater perspective on what they need to do. And I think one thing is that we're still, what I love is that the integrity and the professionalism we have in the industries on the real estate and the mortgage side is still 100% there. If a client is dealing with a mortgage professional or a bank and they're very happy with that service, that's fantastic. We're all about making sure people have great partnerships with who they're dealing with. If they need some assistance on the real estate side, we can absolutely help them with that, to be able to do that. And vice versa. If they have a real estate partner they're dealing with, they're very happy with that service, and we're able to help them on the mortgage side, that's a fantastic win as long as they've got that partnership. But bringing it together under one roof, like you said, where I found over the years is this disconnect of where you don't get the full communication. Just like you said, Brett, like on the real estate side, you're not going to know everything on the financing side that particularly we would know. One is that clients typically don't give consent to a real estate agent to have all their financial disclosure or don't want to have that. And you don't have the full understanding. So it's really hard to piece when there's situations that can be complicated where decisions have to be made and maybe one party doesn't understand that. If we're able to bring it under one roof to have that consent and have that, that synergy and that conversation from the real estate and the financing side, we can move the client quicker into a better decision, right? That's more strategic for them going forward. And that's why I'm excited about it is the real partnership and alignment, bringing something different, but really not different because it should have been there to begin with, I feel. And now that we're able to do this, we can really start, I feel, moving mountains for a lot of people that we're going to see probably in some challenging times over the next maybe 12 to 18 months in the Canadian market. We'll see things recover, but I think it's a time where we can really help people and get them back on a better foot as well.
Yeah, I wanted to just touch on the part you talked about relationships. I mean, that's what this is really all about. It's been the foundation of my business and then growing relationships. And, when I'm talking with people about VF Team and what we do, it is really important that, you have good relationships in place. And if you have it, like you said, with your realtor already, or you already have it with your lender, I mean, that's fantastic. We're here to help you and meet you where, we can do the best service possible. And that's on the financing side, great, with yourself. And if that's on the real estate side with Santiago and I, that's fantastic. And if they don't, and they want something that is just going to be really, one solution that's really easy for them, that makes them feel good, that we can just make it as simple as possible, then we can help them on both sides, with yourself and then with Santiago and I on doing the real estate. And that's something that I think can just bring some really big peace of mind to a process. I always talk about making it as I never promise people it's a stressless or stress-free process. Buying and selling real estate is not that way. It's disruptive. It's not something we do on a regular basis. What I love is being able to now go further than that and really being able to, if they want to, make this really, really, really easy as I possibly can for them. And this partnership allows me now to do that at, just as I said, a much higher level, and just help, like I said, people in a much more profound way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And from my experience too, just being in consulting and sales for pretty much my entire professional career, is you always have to wear different hats. It's sometimes you're a consultant, sometimes you're a therapist. There's all kinds of different hats that we have to wear. And being in a situation where I'm licensed on both as a mortgage broker and as a real estate agent, knowing when to put each hat on is really important. So sometimes we do have to help one client on one specific field that's on the mortgage side. And we have to respect the fact that they already have a professional helping them out and really appreciate the service that they bring as well. Sometimes we help them on the real estate side and they may not do the financing with us, and that's perfectly fine. And that's something I completely respect and appreciate. Whoever is helping them out is going to do the best for that client as well. And really the relationship that I love or the part of it that I love about the transaction is the whole relationship too. So helping the client, helping the other person on the other side win as well. Being in a situation where we can all come together and for the mutual benefit of the client, in essence. And sometimes, like Brett said, we have to help them on both sides. And we get the pleasure of helping them in a space where it's a stressful process as it is. And if we can help streamline that for them so that they don't have to meet different people, so that they don't have to be in a situation where they're dealing with two moving parts at two separate times and feel like there's a lack of communication or it's a bit disruptive in terms of getting that together on the finance and the real estate side. It's finding that it helps a lot in terms of what the client has come back and in terms of the feedback that we receive from clients. It's been a really positive feedback from clients in terms of their experience working on both sides.
Different experience as well when you have both sides. It's not just they all help me with the whole thing. It was fun and easy. It's fundamentally a different experience because having that full understanding just allows us to operate differently, and in just ways that you can't just do it through a sum of parts.
Yep.
Absolutely. I think that, you know, I'm reflecting because I'm thinking of, you know, the last few months of the clients that we've helped in so many levels, like whether they've sold or bought. And every client's come back and been so grateful for the experience they've had and the knowledge. Really, it's the knowledge. It's leveling up our knowledge, right? Leveling up, you know, what we've always said is building our education and financing, as we all know, has been so complicated in the Canadian landscape. We've had so many rule changes, so many different ways to pivot, and to be able to help people in that experience and bringing that in a very timely manner when they're buying or if they're selling or having that conversation on what they need to do, I think is why this is so timely that we were able to bring this together, and to be able to refer to the both of you on the real estate side for me has been instrumental to be able to be so quick in timing with clients on that experience. And at the end of the day, in the world that we're in, the client experience is paramount. We're lacking that in a lot of different businesses, and being able to, I talk about time and time again with clients on various different companies that people are dealing with, not even related to the financing or the real estate side. And they're just, you know, customer service seems to be kind of, you know, going on the back burner in some aspects with some company. And I think that being able to, in this field that we're in right now, leveling up that client experience and that client connection and the conversation and the trust, it's been an exceptional, you know, journey these last few months. I'm excited to see where we're going with it. I think we're going to continue to impact a lot of people and help them. And again, it's leveling up our industry with collaboration and respect of other colleagues in our industry, whether it's on the mortgage or on the real estate side, that we're here to work with people that are collaborative, that understand and respect what we're doing, how we're able to work in partnership with people that are aligned with that are doing what's right for clients, right? And have great relationships with our clients. We're here to work together, not against. And it's always been that way. So I'm excited for it. I know the two of you are as well. Any other last kind of pieces you wanted to talk about?
The big thing is the collaboration. Like I've noticed since getting into the space, the whole real estate transaction for both clients and the other parties that we work with, whether it's realtor, whether it's on the finance side, whether it's the lawyers, appraisers, they respect what we're doing. And the collaboration is there. There's a lot of opportunity to collaborate and make sure that at the end of the day, the service that we're providing benefits the client ultimately. So that's something I'm really proud about. That's something I'm really looking forward to help more clients with, looking forward to collaborate with more people to make that happen and make sure that ultimately that the client's service is the best possible, especially in where we're at right now, where real estate being very tricky, finance being very tricky for a lot of households. There's a lot of uncertainty out there in terms of what may happen. There's a lot of, right now, people traumatized over what's happened over the last few years. So the more we can come together and help clients navigate what's happening right now and the situations they're going through, I think the better it would be for everyone as a whole.
Absolutely. And I think for me, it's about really just elevating the industries that we're in. You know, there's a lot of fantastic people in both of our industries. And, you know, unfortunately, like many industries, there's also a lot of, you know, people who aren't so fantastic as well. And, you know, for me, it's always been about aligning myself with people and teams that are kind of pushing the bar upwards. So for me, this is just a natural progression of what I've been doing my entire life in my sales career. And now being able to kind of come together with Santiago, with you and VF Team, and Tracy, yourself, VUC Financial, and kind of being able to partner here for this new venture is just, you know, the next level of what we're going to do to improve both industries together.
I love that. And I think that's exactly what it is. And I think over the years, for myself, being in the mortgage side for the last 26 years, leveling up that relationship of collaboration, right, and education. And now we're bringing it on both sides of real estate. And to your point, Brett, there's a lot of great partners out there on the real estate side. I mean, I know a lot of realtors over across the country that we're in partnership. We have clients that are buying in, you know, other parts of Canada that, you know, we've got great partnerships with, and we're able to do that, or in other parts of Ontario where we need to refer out. we've got this great alignment and understanding and get great respect, because that's what we've all been about, right? With Velco Financial, now with VF Team. It's about respect. But there are people out there that just don't feel that way, about that. And you're going to get that in every type of industry, right? But we're still there to be able to make sure we're giving people the proper advice, the proper experience. And if they want to deal with us, whether it's the financing or real estate or both, we're here to be able to support that and support the people that they are working with. And that will always continue to be. And I think that's without waiver, anyone coming into our space that's part of this partnership. And as we grow, we'll be in the same type of mindset. It's building and, like you said, Brett, leveling up our industry, leveling up that experience for clients and letting clients know that we're true partners, not only for themselves, but for the other people in our industry.
Also,
And let's continue going forward and see what it all brings, right?
Look forward to it. That's for sure.
thanks a lot for having us, Tracy.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming on. And stay tuned we'll be on again talking more in depth about market and financing. We'll get into some real in-depth, I think, situations as we go with this in terms of to navigate the real estate and finance market. I'm excited for that. And if you love today's episode, please make sure you share it with your friends, family, or colleagues, or hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for the next episode. Make sure you stay connected with your community. We're here to be able to navigate every step of the way.